Introduction. The stakes of Chad's presidential election. Chad's recent presidential election was more than a political event. It was a pivotal moment for the nation's future. As a country marked by decades of military rule and political unrest, the election was seen as a critical step towards stability and democracy. The importance of this election cannot be overstated, as it held the promise of beginning a new chapter for the Chadian people. The spotlight was on me, Mohamed Déby Itno, the transitional leader who stepped into power following the death of my father, Idriss Déby Itno, in 2021. The elder Déby had ruled the country with an iron fist for over 3 decades, and his sudden death left a power vacuum that I quickly filled. This election was my opportunity to secure my leadership through the ballot, rather than just lineage or military might. As citizens of Chad headed to the polls, the air was thick with anticipation and anxiety. For many, this election was a litmus test for the country's direction towards either sustained authoritarianism or a more democratic governance. The stakes were undeniably high, and the eyes of the world were watching. The electoral process in Chad took an unexpected turn when the results were prematurely announced. This early declaration came while many citizens were still casting their votes, which immediately sparked controversy and suspicion among the populace and observers. The official announcement declared me, Mohamed Déby Itno, as the winner, an outcome that many had predicted but few had expected to be proclaimed so hastily. This move was widely criticized as an attempt to preempt any challenges to the results, setting a tense atmosphere across the nation. Analysts and political commentators argued that such a rush to declare a winner could only undermine the public's trust in the electoral process and the legitimacy of the government itself. It raised questions about the transparency and fairness of the entire electoral system in Chad. Furthermore, the timing of the announcement did little to quell the rumors of electoral manipulation, which had been a persistent concern given Chad's history of political interference by those in power. The abrupt announcement acted as a catalyst for public dissatisfaction, leading to immediate and widespread unrest across various parts of the country. The reaction to the election results was swift and varied. Prime Minister Success Masra, the main opponent in the election, vehemently rejected the early results. Masra called for transparency and urged his supporters to remain calm yet vigilant. He emphasized that the fight for a democratic Chad was not over and that the premature announcement was a clear manipulation of the people's will. The public response was more tumultuous. Reports of gunfire and protests in major cities like N'Djamena surfaced shortly after the announcement. The streets, which had been filled with hopeful voters, quickly transformed into scenes of confusion and anger. Social media platforms were ablaze with videos and first-hand accounts of the unrest, painting a picture of a nation on the brink of chaos. International observers also voiced their concerns. Many international bodies, including the African Union and the United Nations, expressed disappointment over the handling of the electoral process. They highlighted the lack of transparency and the preemptive declaration of the results as major issues that could undermine the credibility of the electoral process and, by extension, the stability of the region.